Hello and welcome to BusyWorksBeats.com. I had hot bars before this video, but Pro Tools crashed. So this is take 2 on how to freestyle your song in Pro Tools. All right, so let's switch to Pro Tools. So firstly, I have my mic set up and I just dragged in a beat. So just go to your Finder, just drag in your beat. And before you do anything, go to Pro Tools, go to Settings, and then go to where it says Operation and click where it says Automatically Create New Playlist when Loop Recording. Very important, or else none of this works. Okay, so again, this is the second take, so I got to come up with more bars, but pray for me. All right, so what we want to do is right-click the record button, put this on loop record so that we could just hit play and just keep coming up with ideas. And I have my play button on loop as well. So we're going to right-click, you go to loop. To set a loop, just drag these little arrow things up top for however long you want. If your thing's not locking into the grid, go to where it says grid up here, click here. I have mine on bar. I also have the tempo set to 92, which is the tempo of the beat, the speed of the beat. Okay, so it locks in. So 2 bars at this tempo will be 2 bars perfectly on the beat. So if your thing is messing up, that's probably why. Okay, so again, grab this little arrow thingy thing and then just drag it, create a loop. So my thing is glitching. There we go. Now what's it cause issues? There we go. Oh, goodness. All right, so we have it at 2 bars. Okay, so we'll just repeat. So what we want to do now is just come up with bars. Now I had hotter bars before this video, but then the video crashed. I don't know why. So this is take 2. So firstly, what we're going to do is when we record, it will keep going, like it'll keep going, and then it will create what are called playlists. And we can select the best parts we want and comp them together, or we could just, arrange it in the beat. So let's record. I'll show you what this sounds like in a second. It's funny how they hate you when you make it big. But we was on that west side out on Fig. I figured this really won't take a wig. Now back inside that business, you can get the bid. See how my bars are whacked this time around? Like, they were so hard the first time. I'm so pissed the first recording didn't work. Anyhow, turn off the eye so that you can hear this first track. So if I hit play, it's gonna play whatever's on this vocal track right here. I figured this really won't take a wig. Now back inside that business, you can get the. That was the whack bar. It was just whack. It was whack. Okay, so 1, I want to delete it. It was whack. 2, let's say you like the first. Now on the ending here, I said fig, but I don't think the G registers. So let's hear it. So we have to hit solo right here. It's funny how they hate you when you make it big. But we was on that west side out on Fig. See how it goes out on Fig, and then it just cuts off. So what we want to do is grab the edge. You see this little staple icon, left click and drag it. So this will continue to show you the audio. Basically, you're really recording one file, but it's just seen as multiple things. Okay. And let me save this so this freaking session doesn't blow up this time. Okay, so in this case, we're going to drag it out so that it says fig instead of fit. And then just make your loop longer. It's funny how they hate you when you make it big. But we was on that west side out on Fig. I figured. So let's say I want the G to, be pronounced. I need to change my snap to grid now because it's locked into the bar. So if I highlight this and just delete, it's still going to go fit and not say the G. So I want it to let the G be pronounced. So ironically, click here and then go to 1/4 beat or something small like an 1/8 beat. And you see how the grid just changed? You could turn on grid to see the grid. Okay. But the grid just changed. So now I can left click where I know I was done and just hit delete. It's funny how they hate you when you make it big. But we was on that west side out on Fig. Now it says fig like that. So now let's record something else. Let me keep saving it just in case. All right. So what else rhymes with fig? It's funny how they. I'm gonna say something about chopping cheese and then guapanese. All right, so pray I get these bars out. Let's record again, and then we're gonna move. We're gonna kind of overlay the vocal. I'll show you guys how to do it. Oh, I forgot. Okay, thought it would play the other one. So let me come up with my bars. Let me think. Chopping cheese. Out in New York with a chopping cheese. I just talked the money speaking guapanese. Okay, so those are our bars. We're not going to add any more bars. So right now, if I turn off the I for input, it's going to play whatever I just recorded. It's funny how they hate you when you make it big. But we was on that west side out on Fig. I have it soloed, so that's why I played that one. My fault. Let's go back. Out in New York with a chopping cheese. I just talked the money speaking guapanese. That was kind of hard. What a chopping cheese. Oh, shit. Okay, all we got to do now is left click and just drag this Now it gave me 2 bars. I think I'm about right there. So technically, the first take is gonna overlap into the second take, even though I didn't start right away. So let's go back. And also we need to you make it big. Oh, you know what I forgot to show you guys? You can click here. This is optional. You don't have to do it this way. You can click here and then highlight it, hit the up arrow. That will pull the audio up so that you can actually hear it without having to solo it. It's funny how they hate you when you make it big. When we was on that west side out on Fig, out in New York with a chop and cheese. I just talked the money speaking Guapanese. It's funny how they hate. Okay, so see how it's a Guapanese. So let me let it go for another bar. Hate you when you make it big. When we was on that west side out on Fig, out in New York with a chop and cheese. I just talked the money speaking Guapanese. It's funny how they hate you when you make it big. When we was on that west side out on Fig, out in New York with a chop and cheese. I just talked the money speaking Guapanese. All right, so that's how you basically combine 2 different takes. You could overlap them and create like a different audio track, but I don't want to make it complicated. If you want to do more of the overlaying style, I would recommend just creating a new audio track, hit Control Shift, and then that way you could just left click and drag it down like that, and then have them overlap. So let me just show you what an overlap would sound like. So I'm going to purposely kind of cut myself off. I'm going to be rude to my own recording here. So what we're going to do, let's create another one too. All right, so now I'm doing more of like a punch-in style, but okay, so let's hear what we have so far. So I want this one up top. So highlight this, hit the up arrow. So now it's on the main track. And then I need to take off input mode. They hate you when you make it big. When we was on that west side out on Fig. Okay, so let's pull this down. It's funny how they hate you when you make it big. When we was on that west side out on Fig. Okay, so I need to cut myself off. So I'm just gonna record from this point. Hit record. I'm just gonna make up some bars. So like, I'm just gonna say something about finally got a chop and cheese or something like that. It's funny how they hate you when you make it big. When we was on that west side out on Fig. I'm from Philly where they got a lot of choppers and cheese. But you know I speak that money, we talking that Guapanese. Okay, so I kind of purposely extended the bars. Okay, so in this case, I'm basically cut myself off. So let's hear what it sounds like. Let's go back. It's funny how they hate you when you make it big. When we was on that west side out on Fig. I'm from Philly where they got a lot of choppers and cheese. But you know I... Now again, what you would normally do is kind of fade it in. You wouldn't just like let it just slam in like that. So you would do something like this. Grab the fade, kind of fade it in. But speak that money, we talking that Guapanese. Do something a little... Let's go back. It's funny how they hate you when you make... So I hit Command F on Mac to do fades. Get big. When we was on that west side out on Fig. I'm from Philly where they got a lot of choppers and cheese. So you can control the fade by just grabbing that curvature and just left click. But let's go back. When we was on that west side out on Fig. I'm from Philly where they got a lot of choppers and cheese. But you know I speak that money, we talking that Guapanese. Okay, so that's how you do more of an overlay type. I don't record that way, but that's how you could do it. And just drag down the takes to get them out the way if you want to keep recording. That's how I would do it, to keep everything kind of streamlined. The playlists are more for when you're trying to comp the best take. Like if you're like 50 Cent and you just do 20 takes of the same thing, that's more for like that type of stuff. Most people aren't that insane when they record. But if you guys are, you would just keep recording in that loop and then highlight the area, hit the up arrow, and then combine whatever parts of each best take you want. So for example, let's go all the way back and hear what this first take was. It's funny how they hate you when you make it big. When we was on that west side out. All right, so let's say I freestyled the bar, so I'm trying to remember what I said. So I said, it's funny how they hate you when you make it big. When we was on the west coast out on Fig, something like that. So now I'm gonna say, okay, I want the best take of me saying that. Here's where I would just record 4 times of me saying the same thing. And what I'm going to do for this video's purpose is move this other audio out the way so it's not just hanging there. Okay, so now what we're going to do is just record the same thing multiple times. Again, I kind of forgot what I said because it was a freestyle. So let me hear it one more time. They hate you when you make it big. Okay, when they hate you when you make it big out on Fig. Okay, let's record that 4 times. It's funny how they hate you when you make it big. Cause we was on that west coast out on Fig. It's funny how they hate you when you make it big. But we was on that West Coast out on Fig. It's funny how they hate you when you make it big. But we was on that West Coast out on Fig. It's funny how they hate you when you make it big. But we was on that West Coast out on Fig. It's funny how they hate you when they make it big. But we was on that West Coast out on Fig. It's funny how they hate you when you make it big. But we was on that West Coast out on Fig. Okay, so I did like 35 styles. So now you can go through and be like, which style do I like? So I'm gonna solo each style and just see which style I like. It's funny how they hate you when you make it big. But we was on that west side out on Fig. It's funny how. So now I'm gonna solo each one using the solo button. They hate you when you. It's funny how they hate you when you make it big. Cause we was on that West Coast out on Fig. Now that one had a lot of white coat. Like I like that kind of cadence to it. It's funny how they hate you when you make it big. But we was on that West Coast out on Fig. That one was kind of offbeat. It's gonna take 4. We're gonna solo each one. It's funny how they hate you when you make it big. That one had too much in the mic. Let's keep going. It's funny how they hate you when you make it big. That one didn't have enough bounce. And then it's funny how they hate you when they make it big. But we was on that West Coast out on Fig. That one was cool, but I didn't say the right words. And then lastly, we have the main track here. It's funny how they hate you when you make it big. But we was on that West Coast out on Fig. Okay, I mean, it's kind of cool. Like if you're going for the bouncy style, you would use that last one. And what I would normally do is just drag it down into its own audio track. Okay, just drag it like this. And then now you could have it. So we have like, okay, so that would override it. And then you combine whatever you recorded. So all that other stuff is just, if you want to go back to it, you could go back to it. To switch this view, I think I forgot to show you guys, click right here and then go to playlists if I didn't already show you that. It's funny how they hate you when you make it big. Because if you switch this to something else, it's not going to show. It's just going to be blank. You're like, where did my takes go? You have to click this little thing over here where it says record and then go to wave, switch that to playlists. It's funny how they hate you when you make it big. But we was on that West Coast out on Fig. I'm from Philly where they got a lot of choppers and cheese. But you know I speak that money, we talking that guapanese. It's funny how they hate you when you make it big. But we was on that West Coast out on Fig. I'm from Philly where they got a lot of choppers and cheese. But you know I speak that money, we talking that guapanese. So that's how you can kind of freestyle and piece together your song as opposed to like trying to record everything in one take and you run out of breath. Personally, I don't write lyrics, so if I could just sing it out, it's a lot easier for me to actually write songs that way than to like read it from a piece of paper. So for those people who are like that, that's how I would do it. I'm sure there's like technical ways we could work faster, but I mean, it's pretty simple, but that's just how it works. Okay, so if you want to learn more, go to busyworksbeats.com. I appreciate you guys. Like the video because video 1 crashed, so peace.